he's back on his feet.
Do you feel like you guys have the pieces to get back to the top of the SEC? Are they in place there?
Definitely. I'm more confident now than I feel like I've ever been. Going into my senior year, knowing the things that I know, and being older, I feel like more mature, as well as our team being more mature. We have a whole lot of upside to our team. I know when me and guys like Casanova, and when we move on, to the next level, those guys are just going to thrive when we leave Auburn University. I really appreciate, the amount of support that we have day in, day out at Auburn. And, this year I feel like it's going to be extremely special.
What's your
nothing really surprising. I'm extremely. Yeah, he definitely does. I'm extremely excited about the opportunity to play Coach Muschamp, all that he brings to the table. What I really love about Coach Muschamp is he always brings the same attitude each and every day. He has no bad days, and you have a coach like that that's always getting after it. It just allows you to, it raises your level, and it allows you to play as a leader. It allows you to play, more intense, and allows you to do more, to be more accountable to your teammates. And it's kind of like a trickle-down effect. Then you see other guys following your lead and really just raising their level. And that's really all it's about. It's all about the camaraderie and being able for guys to see you and see what you're doing and kind of follow after you and want to be better in each and every aspect of the game.
What did you know about him when you first showed up? I mean, what have you heard? And are those things kind of different than what you've seen so far firsthand?
Nothing really different. I heard he was an intense guy, and he brought a lot of great stuff to the table. His credentials speak for themselves, and you can see it each and every day. Preparing for a game or preparing for practice, you can just see how important everything is to him. And that's actually what he always says is everything's important. And that's one of the first things he said in one of the first meetings we've had, and it's kind of carried us on. And we know that everything is important. Every single every practice, every time you step in the film room, every day you wake up, what you put in your body, everything's important. And knowing that just allows us to it kind of stays in the back of our mind and allows us to work harder and try to reach for greatness.
Kris, you talked about his credentials. Does that carry over beyond what he's teaching y'all to a confidence level that maybe y'all didn't have last year?
I definitely feel like it raises our confidence level. He personally raises our confidence level in telling us, what we can do and basically, bragging on us when it's time to brag on us. It's not just about scoring. It's not about, getting after your players. But Coach Muschamp really understands, about when you do something good and praising it, and that's what we love about it so much. Then it starts to become more about doing, making great plays to excite your coach and excite your team, and not making great plays so that you don't get in trouble. It's great for us. We love Coach Muschamp, and we love what he brings to the table each and every day.
Kris, do you feel your skills as a pass rusher are fully appreciated?
Not fully appreciated, but at the same time, I feel like there's always room to improve. I feel like I've improved a lot this summer in technique and how I do things, how I come off the edge, and being able to really have control of your body is a major thing in being a pass rusher. I feel like I'm natural in a lot of ways, and I feel like in a lot of other ways, there's a lot of stuff I can improve on, a lot of different ways I can improve on.
And Casanova, do you feel he's properly recognized around the country, around this conference?
I feel like he's kind of in the same boat as me, maybe a little unappreciated, but I feel like, on the field, this is our chance to do something about it. And I feel like, we have nothing but opportunity this season coming up to, show how great we can be as pass rushers, as well as dropping back into coverage and covering man-to-man. I like to pride myself on being multifaceted and being able to do different things.
You two are the clear starters, but what's been your impression of the new young guys, Holland in particular, and Prince Tega? What have you seen from them so far?
Well, other than the player run practices, I haven't really gotten to see too much, but those guys, I feel like the freshmen that come in are getting bigger and bigger every single year, but they're extremely, great in their attention to being great. They all want to be great, and I feel like that's kind of like that's a stepping stone for most players. I feel like that's the foundation for most people, is knowing that you know how much a guy wants to be great, how the lengths he'll go through to be great. And I feel like guys like Cower and other guys on our team coming in as freshmen, and even some red shirts from last year, stepping up and just showing how much they'll do in order to be great. And that's the biggest thing for us.
What did you think was the biggest thing that was wrong with the defense last year?
Well, we kind of just hit a wall. I feel like the biggest thing was we couldn't really get a pass rush. That definitely showed. It always starts up front. It starts up front to being able to get pressure on the quarterback, and I feel like that's kind of how we hit the wall.
Looking at that, look to have Carl back in there now.
Well, it's great. It's amazing being able to have Carl Lawson back. The intensity he brings to the table is amazing, and just his ability is through the roof, and it speaks for itself really. But we're excited to have him back, and I feel like him as well as other guys on our D-line, they're going to make a big impact for us, and we're extremely excited about it.
How close is Carl to being what he was before he got hurt?
From me seeing him run around, it looks like he's even better. But that guy, the amount that he works on and off the field is amazing. His work ethic really just propels everyone else forward. It allows everyone to really get a feel of what they want to be. When they look at him, it's kind of like he's a model for younger players and even some older players. When I look at him, I think about things that I can do to get better as a pass rusher, and being able to do various things on the field. And I love watching him play, and having him on the field beside us is going to be great.
The things that Muschamp is doing defensively, does it feel like wholesale change or tweaking what you're already doing?
A little bit of both, actually. One thing that Coach Muschamp is great at is really just maximizing our potential while, knowing what we're good at and all of our talents, and maximizing that, as well as, doing different things completely different. Things that maybe as a player you didn't feel like you really had in you, but then when you start to do those things, you start to drop back in coverage or cover slot receivers man, then you start to realize, well, I can do this and I can do certain things. The amount of when he relies on you, he allows you to be more I guess you could say focused on what you have to do. You want to please him as your coach as well as all your other teammates.
For his first jump up,
Have you noticed that? What kind of impact has he brought?
Well, from day one, he's brought a whole lot of energy. That's his biggest thing, I feel like. And it's really kind of just trickled down to all of us. It allows us to be able to come to practice each and every day with just be able to have fun, and I feel like that's the biggest thing for us. And the more you prepare, that's the more you're able to play loose, and the more you're able to play loose, you can communicate and have more energy. And he definitely preaches that.
Hey, Kris,
I'm sorry.
First impression about him, Count.